Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back in my craft room here at Random Acts of Crafting, and today we're going to make a very simple but elegant card. We're going to use very minimal supplies, so this is a card that most anybody could do. The supplies that I have out here on my desk, I have the Tasteful Touches stamp set, and we're going to be using this flower out of this. I have my my e-stamp block, which this is if you could only afford to get one stamp block from Stampin' Up, I would suggest this one. It's very versatile. It holds a large image as well as small ones. It's easy to fit in the hand, and again, this is stamp block E. So we're going to be using that. We're also going to be using 3 shades of ink, and what I have here is a Smoky Slate, which is in the gray family, and also a gray Granite. And we're going to be stamping off with both of these colors. The other thing that we're going to be using is Pretty Peacock. This is a beautiful dark teal, and it's going to really bring some life to our card. So that's it. I do have my fussy cut scissors. I have 2 pieces of white Whisper White cardstock that are cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and these are both the same. One we're going to be using for the outside panel of the card, and the other one will be the inside panel. I also have a mat here, and you know what? I'm going to have to cut this down because these are the same size. Okay, we're going to cut this down 1/4 inch. This one is the mat that we're going to mat on our card. Our card is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 to give us an A2 size card. And then this piece of gray is going to live on top of that, just like that. And we're going to cut this down 1/4 inch smaller so it will fit like this, and this card's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to move the supplies out. I'm going to grab my trimmer so we can trim this piece down. And I pre-cut a lot of these just to have them in stock, because sometimes you never know exactly what size you're going to need. But I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. So easy to use this trimmer. The numbers are nice and big on it. You can actually see what you're doing, and just takes all the guesswork out. Not to mention, it also scores. So, needless to say, I love this trimmer. You're probably going to get tired of hearing me say that, but it is just the truth of the matter. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp. And I think we're going to use the Smoky Slate. And I am going to grab this flower from this Tasteful Touches stamp set. And we're just going to grab the big flower. And I'm going to load him up on my stamp block. And I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Now the first flower that I want to put down, I want to position it kind of in the center and kind of angled a little bit. I think maybe right about there. And you'll see why as we build this card. You'll see why I wanted this one right here. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm just going to very lightly stamp around the edges, and I think I'll go this way on this one. And maybe this way. And let's do this one like this. And you just want to twist your flower as you're stamping to get just different positions of your flower. And this is what makes this card so beautiful. And we're going to stamp one right there. And I think that's all we're going to need to do with that. So I'm just going to wipe my stamp off just a teeny bit over here. And we'll get to clean, I'll clean that much better a little bit later. So let's close this ink up. And now I am going to wipe up my mess that I made here. Just like that. So now we have this beautiful piece of pattern paper that we've made, and what we're going to do next is we are going to stamp. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper. We're going to use that same flower, and we are going to stamp it in the granite. And I'm going to stamp it right about there. And isn't that pretty? A little bit darker than this, just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to fussy cut this stamp out for this image. I'm just going to stack that over there for a moment. Let me go ahead and close my ink up while we are letting that dry a little bit. You want to make sure that it's dry before you start cutting it. So I'm just going to grab my little fussy cut scissors, and I'm going to do what I always do. I like to cut the flower out so that I can make it a little easier to trim around the flower. Now I want to go just outside the frame of the flower. So remember the rule of thumb when you are fussy cutting. Move your paper and not your scissors. Just like this. You know, and just take your time with it. You don't have to hurry. Even for me, with the time lapse of the video, I'm still just going to take my time as I cut around this. And if you notice, I am turning that paper, not the scissors. This is key to getting a good fussy cut. Move that paper. There we go. So now we got that fussy cut out. You see how easy that was? This is a very, very easy image to actually cut out. So we are going to use that in just a minute. But before we do, we are going to take these two sprigs, or this one sprig, that is this little image right here from the same stamp set, Tasteful Touches. And we are going to stamp here and probably here with this image, but we're going to do it in that beautiful pretty peacock. That is going to brighten up and add some dimension to our card. So I'm just going to load that up on my stamp block. And then load up some ink. And we want to do it where it's right over top of this flower, but you want to center it so that your pieces are going to be centered in about like that. And then we're going to ink it one more time. Turn it around, and we're going to cross those little branches and just stamp it down. And I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, you just did that on top of the other flowers. It's going to be okay. We will continue to build this card, and I'm going to show you how beautiful it's going to be once we're done. So I'm going to lay that block right there, and I want to get my Stampin Dimensionals. Let's go ahead and close up this ink. Always make sure you hear that snap with your ink. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to grab my little take your pick tool, and I'm going to use this to put on my dimensionals. Now the Take Your Pick tool is wonderful for what we're about to do here. I'm going to pull a little piece of this right here. Don't be afraid to use that little scrap stuff that's around the edges of your little Stampin' Dimensionals, because it can be used too. And look how easy this Take Your Pick tool wrangles off all of your backers off of your Stampin' Dimensionals. This works on other adhesives too, but good quality adhesives. Now we're going to take this flower and we're going to place it right over top of the one that is stamped down. But with it doing that, it's going to cover up those middle pieces, and this card is going to look beautiful. So that's pretty much all we have to do with the card. Now what we need to do is bring our piece of gray paper that we're going to use as our mat. And we're going to adhere this to our card base. And I am going to use some of our snail, and all I'm going to do is just run it right along the edges like that. And let's put one little piece in the middle, just for good measure. Now I'm going to open this card up so that I can see better where my margin is. And we're going to lay this down. Just like that. Now we're ready to adhere this to the front. This is going to be such, we still need to stamp our sentiments, so I'm wondering if we want to I'm thinking I might use this Healing Hugs, because this would be beautiful. Get well soon, or sending you healing vibes. I love that one. What's sending you healing vibes? we're going to make this a get well card. And so many people have been sick, so I think this is pretty on point, I think is the right term. So how about if we layer that down, and we're going to cut another piece of white to go across there. But what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And all I'm going to do is just swirl some glue. Just like that. They are cutting grass across the road. I'm sure y'all heard that lawnmower crank up. It's always amazing how loud the lawnmowers are. Now I'm going to do something a little different with my sentiment this morning. I think what I'm going to do, this is our brand new lovely label Pick-a-Punch. And as you can see, it shows on the front that you can make 3 different tags with either one of these tops. So I want to do, and let me see the width of this. Looks like it's going to be 1-inch strip, and let's see if this will fit on a 1-inch strip. Most definitely. So let's go ahead and let's get a 1-inch strip of white cardstock. If you don't have a piece that's exactly 1 inch, cut it down, you know. Grab your trimmer. And all I'm going to do is put this in. And I'm going to cut it to 1 inch. Now this piece will be our sentiment strip. Now I think I want to do the more scalloped edge, so I am going to open up my punch and I'm going to slide this in on this side. You can see how it goes down in there. If you want to, you can come back here and make sure that it is lining up good, but that looks real good. So I'm going to set it back down onto my work surface. And I'm going to punch. And look at that beautiful little edging it puts on there. So what I want to do now is I'm going to grab this stamp set, or this particular stamp, Sending You Healing Vibes. I'm going to take this one off of my stamp block and put it back where it belongs. Just like that. And this one too. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get this one lined up. Just like that. And I think I'm going to stamp it in the pretty peacock. I want something that's going to pop. And I think this will. Let's get it going the right way. And I'm going to come right about here and stamp. And now we know about where we need to cut this in order to be able to do the other side, and then we'll have both sides of this card with this beautiful little tab. And I'm thinking if we cut it about here, that should give us enough of space. I got ink all over me, y'all. Well, no, I cannot craft without making a mess. But it's okay, because if you're making a mess, you're having fun. So we are going to put this back in that same side and feed it in. And checking it back here to make sure it's lined up right. And we're going to, and look how cute that is. This is made to make tag toppers, but look how cute you can make sentiment. You can make tags for your sentiments, which are absolutely beautiful done using this technique. So what I want to do now is I want to pop this up right about here. So let's get some more of our Stampin Dimensionals. And I'm just going to use my fingers this time, and I'm going to put probably about 3. Right across there. I love the way that wrangles all of those little sticky backers off of the off of your card once you put them on. And I want to make sure that I'm getting this exactly where I want it. That is a beautiful card. And inside, we're going to put this piece down inside. And again, I think I'm just going to, I was trying to debate what do I want to put inside. And I think I might just do the Get Well Soon. That's nice and big and bold. And I think I'm going to do it right about there. And I'm going to go back and go into the Pretty Peacock because I want it to be cohesive and I want it to kind of flow through the entire card because I love, love, love this, the simpleness of this. It is just absolutely gorgeous. And if you could see how beautiful these Stampin' Up! Stamps stamp off, first time, every time, you will find that you need to use your MISTI less and less because usually, you get a much better image on your very first stamp set than you do other stamps. And that's what I love about Stampin' Up! The products are such good quality. Now we're just going to put this inside, and like I said, I'm going to follow through with the same glue. And you know, you could do this with any stamps you have in your stock. I'm a firm believer of using what you got. So You know, if you got some old cardstock that you want to get rid of, you pull it out. Make some cards with it. You might be able to sell them. You never know. Well, this card is ready. All it needs is a signature and someone on my heart to send it to. By sending you healing vibes, get well soon. Kathy Champion. No, I'm not going to sign it because I don't know who I'm going to give this card to just yet. I may come down and put some glitter on these. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for being a part of my crafty family, and for supporting me in my journey. I love you all so very much, and you mean the world to me. And as I always say in closing, let everything you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven tonight and all through the day. His love is infinite. He's there and he's up and awake all hours of the night. So if you need to send him an email, I am sure that he would definitely get it. And if you need an email address, it is contactgod@heavenlyplaces.com. Send in your requests, but you know what? He'd rather hear your voice, so why don't you just talk to him? Tell him your needs, your desires, your fears, and he will help you overcome them. Until we craft again, let everything that you say and do bring glory to our Father in heaven, for he is so, so worthy. See you soon. Bye-bye.